Good morning, everyone. It's a delight to come on your wave this morning. It's now time for us to bring you Global Morning on Global Television, reaching you live and direct from the nation's capital, Abuja, Nigeria. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo, and of course, it's still a rainy day, but then we have to be here to make it happen because you deserve to know what's going on in your country. And of course, I'm not here alone on the program this morning. Priscilla Abasi is right here. It's good to have you this morning.
Thank you very
Priscilla.
much, Ramsey. Good morning, Nigerians. Thank you so much for taking your time, your precious time, to join us on the show this morning. You said it's a rainy day.
But it didn't rain.
It didn't rain.
It didn't rain in your access.
Yeah, it did. Although it rained all through the night.
Oh.
So that's one interesting thing about the rainy season. It can be raining somewhere else heavily.
I'm surprised to hear this.
It didn't. Like, I got to this environment this morning.
And you discovered it was
I thought we were wet, like, oh, it rained here. But sometimes it's a different thing. Sometimes it happens to be raining in where I'm coming from at my area, and I come here and everywhere is dry. So that is the beauty with nature.
God is wonderful. That's nature for you. God is wonderful. I actually came to the office in the rain. It was raining when I left the house. You know, and of course we have to be here because the job needs to go on. That's to tell you how much we value our viewers. All right, everyone, it is a blessed day, of course, and we can't stop talking about things happening in Nigeria. The issue of insecurity is growing by today. I don't know, but except you are a victim or you have someone that it has happened to, you might not know the gravity. The level of joy in Oyo State at the moment is unquantifiable. After the release of the school pupils, I saw that video and I was wondering, are these the children?
Nigerians have been commenting on that. People have made several videos to that effect. You know, when you sit back to analyze the state, the joy, you know, on the face of the children, people have come out to say, oh, how come these people have been in captivity for over 5 weeks, right? 5 weeks, it doesn't look like, and all. Is there something more to what we are seeing? But we'll have an analyst today to come help us dissect all of that.
Yes, I think it is worth looking into, whatever it is.
The most important thing is that we are not in that state of agitation anymore. Whether it is they were...
No, but Nigerians already understand a lot of dramas.
Yes.
So hardly you see a particular thing surprising them, amazing them. You know, I saw a video where they were appreciating the president. You know, the children were saying thank you. You know, a woman spoke and the children also say thank you, thank you, thank you. And I was thinking, when they were abducted, they were abducted from the school, right? And I think probably they were in uniform, but they all came out in I think in mufti also. So maybe the abductors, all right, were liberal enough to provide that. It's possible. It's possible.
It's possible their conversation with the government, because I believe that they were having a back and forth agreements. And, an agreement, a conversation with the government. We also saw the video that came from the presidency, or was it our defense, the rescue mission, everything that happened, how it seemed like a Nigerian movie. I was waiting to see the movie title, because I mean, can you see the number of armor tanks we have there, and heliuxes lined up? It was a rescue mission indeed. I don't know what this is supposed to, the information or the message is supposed to pass. I don't know what terms they were released. I don't know the agreements that was that they had, but I don't even know what to make of this. It's amazing. It's interesting. It's Nigeria. It has Nigeria with its flag written all over.
Yeah, this is the video where the woman was appreciating the president. And of course they were. I You say the children, is it the skill? I don't know what they are.
Some of them are still on uniform, though.
Yes, some of them are still in their uniform.
It's possible that they had to
mufti.
Really carry mufti, and there are schools that have Friday wears.
Yes, possibly.
Yeah, so on that Friday, some people still wear uniform. During the sports day, there are people that don't have the sports wear, so they wear uniform. Some will wear mufti, and all of that. It's definitely a government school, right? They haven't, the government set. So I don't know. I don't know what.
But the truth is this: whatever it is, whatever Nigerians are thinking, the most important thing right now is that these people have been released. They can now be reunited with their family. It doesn't matter whatever anyone is thinking, but the most important thing to the parents of these kids now and the family of the teachers is that, finally, family members can now be reunited, all right, with their family. I know the parents will be so happy.
But we cannot sweep these things under the carpet. We need to. If this kind of thing happens in the United States of America, for example, all the details, all the necessary.
But this is Nigeria. This is not United States.
Well, it's playing on the intelligence of Nigerians. You can't call for the sympathy of Nigerians. Put these things out there, and then you don't give us the details or put out the rescue mission clip out there, and then you're not telling us exactly how. It's information we have.
Are you sure anyone will have the time to cover how they were rescued?
No, I'm not saying you should cover how they were rescued, but let us know how you met them.
But those are security strategies that should not be disclosed. Probably that's what the government or the security agencies are thinking.
I don't think so.
It could be a strategy.
I'm not asking you to tell us the strategy. I want us to know the state, the details of the state.
How are you able to?
These kids are looking.
But we've not seen anyone arrested yet.
Exactly, none of
We've not seen anyone arrested. So, if they've been rescued, all right, what happened? Is it that there was an agreement? Is it that ransom was paid and the people agreed to leave the children somewhere for the security operatives to pick them up? Or
so what is all of that armor tanks and Hiluxes?
No.
It's just for an exchange.
Going to rescue the kids. You don't know what will happen.
So the number of cars I saw there.
The armor tanks. Priscilla, I don't know. I don't know what you're thinking about our country. I don't know what you're thinking.
If you had an agreement, you didn't need that paparazzi. It was just to take 1 or 2, 3 vehicles, go there, have the exchange.
No, there was one that I saw, one of the videos that I saw, that they went somewhere, put them in a bus, that one black bus, and brought them out. It's as if they've been brought out of where they were really abducted already. Maybe this is an open place where everybody gathered to receive them.
With the number, I still insist that with the number of cars we saw there, we expected to see that some people were arrested, some people
we're still waiting for the arrest.
That kind of scenario.
What the federal government told us, what the security operatives told us is they were being careful so that they don't do anything to the detriment of the lives of those abducted. So they were a bit careful. Probably there was no bonfire exchange, all right, just because of agreement. What is important to us as a country now is these people that have been released from captivity. But then, after now, the media, several civil society organizations should ask questions. Who are those responsible? How were they released? What happened? Why were they in that captivity for that long time? These are the things we should be looking at. But if you see the excitement on the faces of the children, if you give them biscuit, they forget about most things.
No. These are children that were in captivity. They were exposed to the rain. That is the picture we're made to believe. They were in the rain. Mosquito bites would have been there. They were in the forest. They've not been taken care of. We saw videos, clips, 1 or 2 clips when they were still in captivity. So this, I don't think it's this. I don't know if it's the same set of children. Or
this is the same woman that was begging Nigerians, please Nigeria. This one waving her head.
Children are human beings too. You cannot say that because they are children they will not express the pain. If they were really in captivity, that weakness will be there. If they're not well fed.
Can I tell you something? among these kids, there are some that are very intelligent that may end up telling their parents one or two things later about what happened, where they were kept, how they were treated, and all of that. And that could give Nigerians, all right, at least an idea, clue to whatever it is that has happened. But the most important thing is that these children have been released. You know, they are here. And we are glad that none of them was unalived. You know, nobody, the teacher, yes, one was beheaded. I don't want to talk about that anymore. But thank God that the children came back alive. Maybe that attempt, you know how these people behave, probably it was an attempt or maybe an incident meant to hasten or fasten the process of whatever they were looking for, or to make Nigerians know that they were serious. But then it's unfortunate that that life was lost and the family will not see him anymore, whatever it is. But the bottom line is that, well, there is need for more investigation.
Absolutely. There is need for more investigation. We need to know the details of this very event so that we can be careful as Nigerians, so that our government can know how to better act. There are lots of lessons to learn from this, and precautionary steps and measures to take to avoid a repetition of this. So it is for public information, it is for public sensitization, and it's for security measures.
Yes, and one other thing again, I feel in our schools, everywhere, in churches, in mosques, everywhere Nigerians are found, there should be at least, even if it is 10 minutes of educating the people on security strategies, what to do, at some point. If Nigeria is an advanced technology country, there are things you can do when people are adopted. If you have satellites everywhere, we can locate these people, even though some persons claim that some persons know where they are. Some people have claimed, allegedly some names have been mentioned as financiers of these people. These people who kidnap, who abduct people, collect ransoms, and of course, this money is being shared. Probably, let's try and find out one or two things. The telcos come together, the banking sector comes together, NIDA come together, NCC. All of these people, let's put heads together alongside with the security operatives so that we can come up with more strategy, more action instead of more talk. Let's have less talk, more action, or else this thing is eating deeper into the fabric of the society, and it's not a good one. All right, everyone, we'll take a quick break. After this break, we'll bring you taste and texture, at least to give you. We've talked about security. I know some persons are apprehensive. Some persons are like, oh, so now if you're going out, you need to be careful and all of that. But then calm down, just have something for breakfast. We're just going to give you a tip. Maybe you might be influenced by what you want to see now. And of course, give it a try. It's time for taste and texture.
Hello everyone and welcome to Taste and Texture. I am your chef for today, Saadatu Garba. Today we're going to prepare an easy Nigerian delicacy and we will be breaking down the entire process. In this episode of the program, we will be preparing oatmeal with fruits. Oatmeal is always a delicious and simple breakfast option. This one is a recipe that is filling, delicious and nutritious, especially when taken with fruits. Also, this breakfast oatmeal can be made in under 5 minutes by anyone. In addition to the speed and ease of making it, it is also fun to make. Main supplies: raw oats, milk, sugar or honey, water, banana, coconut chips, apple, cashew nuts. Step 1. Place a clean pot on the stove and add enough water to cook the oats. Step 2. Bring your water to a boil and add the oats while stirring gently to avoid lumps and burning. Add more water if the oats is too thick to the consistency you prefer. Step 3. When your oats is cooked, add honey or sugar, then add your milk and mix properly. Step 4. Dish your prepared oats into a bowl. Step 5. Dice your apple into small bits. Peel and slice your bananas, then add into your bowl of oats. That's it. Your oatmeal breakfast is done and ready for consumption. Now, it's all yours to enjoy. That's it on today's episode of the program Taste and Texture. Hope you will try this recipe in your various homes and hope you enjoyed the program. Join me same time next week for another episode of the program. I am Saadatu Garba. Thank you for watching, and I will be catching you on the next exciting meal.
Well, they say breakfast should be taken light, and this is the best option of light. I don't know if this would go for the men that are watching this. I don't know, even for some women, it might not work, especially if you're a breastfeeding mother and you need to really load up your tummy. But then, I mean, they say breakfast should be light, so it's called breakfast for a reason. It's just something light, right? So you want to try this out. Ramsey, does this work for you?
Well, it's a breakfast, so
no, that doesn't seem like a yes for a typical.
If it works for me,
man. Pounded yam in the morning.
No. Who eats pounded yam? By now, the average Idoma man, maybe 2 slices.
That is not possible.
For me, I don't know.
It can't be 2 slices. It has to be maybe half loaf of bread or something.
Half loaf. That is too much. So how will you go to work?
How do you eat 2 slices?
How will you go to work? For people who go to farm, how would they go to farm?
Exactly. How do you go to farm with 2 slices of bread?
Yes. What happens is, okay, you're not a farmer. Let me educate you.
Please educate me.
When you're going to the farm, you go prepared. You go with drinks. You know, go with
eating along the way.
No, you don't eat along the way.
Okay.
You leave the house very early. Sometimes you don't even have time for breakfast because you have to leave the house very early. Just like they say, early to bed, early to rise. You know, by the time you get to the farm, you farm and it's around 10, 12 noon. You just take a break and take something. Then for those who go to the office and all of that, maybe 2 loaves of bread. It depends on the individual. 2 slices.
I've said it's out of the
2 slices of the bread.
You just said it.
Do we have humans that eat 2 loaves of bread?
Of course,
2 loaves of bread.
There are different sizes of bread, right? There's a small loaf.
Okay, the homemade.
There's the big loaf.
The homemade.
Family size loaf. I don't know which one you consume, but I heard 2
No, but I know. It depends on the individual. Like our brothers from the east and our sisters.
2 loaves of bread. 2 loaves of bread came off
apple and
it was not a mistake.
It was
something that.
But all this is beautiful. As a matter of fact, I think you can give it a try.
Yeah.
Right, because it may. You will love it, actually.
It will definitely suffice. It's fruit.
Yes.
I saw that, I saw the nuts. I saw the coconut.
The coconut.
I saw the cashew nuts, the fruits that, were sprinkled on it. And it just looks...
A lot of Nigerians will eat that and they'll still be hungry.
That's right. But then, it's, like we said, it's an inspiration. So you can even add to it. You want to add apple by the side of it. It's just something to inspire your creativity. Right? Yeah. So that's our breakfast inspiration for you today. The next point of call now would be inspirational. I mean, it's as important as you are eating, you are being inspired by the side, or maybe as you are preparing that dish, something's inspiring for the day. Because it's Monday, it's a good way to start the week, okay? So let's join Ramsey and Okabo as he brings us inspirational for today. Ramsey, over to you.
Beautiful day, right? And I'm so excited to come on your way this wonderful day. It's good for us to talk about peace of mind, which is greater than packaging. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Yes, have you thought about it? Our topic today is simple but powerful. There is a reason why I feel it's powerful. Because we're talking about peace of mind, which is greater than packaging. That's the topic for today. That's where we'll be discussing from today. Peace of mind is greater than packaging. In Nigeria today, many people are under pressure. Pressure for what? To package. Package what? Their lives. Because they want to feel belonging. Probably because they want to impress someone who may not even be watching. But then, people actually want to appear successful even when they are drowning in debt. I know people run into debt because they simply want to package, they simply want to impress. Some even borrow money to buy the latest phone. Some rent expensive houses. Some even go as far as wearing designer clothes. Do you know what it means for someone to rent an expensive apartment that they cannot afford? They go borrow money to do that, all in the name of packaging, especially in this era of social media. But then the truth is this, well, the spraying of money at parties to show off, all these are packaging, and posting of fake lives on social media, like I said, just to impress people who honestly do not care about them. At the end of the day, you go feeling the heat. Do these people really care, whatever you are? Like I tell people, you're borrowing to do a wedding, you're borrowing to do a birthday party. People will come, eat and go. Then you face the reality. A lot of people have committed a lot of evil because they went too far to package themselves in order to impress people. But behind many smiling faces, there are sleepless nights. Behind some luxury cars that you see, some are even on paid loans that get them those cars. Behind some expensive weddings are families battling serious problems. Behind some social media posts are depression, anxiety, frustration, weeping all the time at night. You see them looking at the ceiling, wetting their pillows with cry because they did what they were not supposed to do, just to package. Pride is what's causing all of these. But then, this is the reason why today I want us to understand that peace of mind is more valuable than appearance. A man who sleeps well at night is richer than a man who owns 3 cars but is afraid of every phone call because of debt. A woman who eats simple food with joy is happier than someone who is dining in an expensive restaurant while battling emotional pain. Peace of mind cannot be bought in the market. You can't buy it at all. So get yourself peace of mind. Get yourself peace of mind. There is a popular saying, of course, in Nigeria that who get peace, they enjoy life. All right? Because a lot of people have money, but do they sleep at night? You can't. You can buy bed, but you can't buy sleep. Look around our society today. Many young people are competing unnecessarily. Social media has turned life into a competition. Somebody will snap inside another person's car and pretend it belongs to him or her. Some ladies are under pressure because of what they see online. No, don't live your life based on what people are posting online. It will make you make mistakes. Some young men have entered fraud, crime, ritual, and even dangerous activities because they want to maintain packaging. One thing with packaging is that by the time you start, you need to do other things to maintain it because they need to be sustained. But let me ask you a question right now. What is the value of packaging when your heart is restless? What's the value of what need is it? Who are you trying to impress? The person you're trying to impress is sleeping very well. Any phone call the person takes at will, but in your own case, you can't take phone calls. If you hear your phone ring, your mind will skip, oh, is it the person I'm calling and all of that. At night, you can't even sleep because you don't know who is going to come knocking at your door the next day. Let me tell you this. A young man in Lagos once worked honestly as a mechanic apprentice. His friends even mocked him because he rode an old motorcycle while they were actually showing off flash lifestyle. He stayed focused, avoided crime, and kept learning his trade. 10 years later, he owns a successful automobile workshop and employed workers. Some of those who mocked him either are hiding from debt or from the law enforcement agency or even struggling with regrets. Peace of mind, once again, I want to reiterate. Peace of mind is greater than packaging. Don't go and do what is not necessary because you just want to package. All right? Don't do what you feel it's going to be detrimental to your life because you want to package, you want to impress someone. It's not necessary. Live your life, all right, positively, not just a package so that you can live a flamboyant life on social media or in the face of people, but then you are restless because you're living your life on loan. You're living your life on so many things that are not necessary because you want to impress. I want everyone to know that it's better, all right, to be truthful to yourself instead of you going about doing what you are not supposed to do in the name of packaging. Once again, peace of mind is greater than packaging right here in Nigeria and anywhere in the world. Thank you very much. This is the size of Heart to Heart today. I believe someone has been inspired. Live your life positively and not living your life to impress. Don't borrow because you want to package yourself to impress people. It doesn't matter. Thank you very much and have a beautiful day.
Thank you, everyone. That is inspirational, just to inspire you a little bit, to help you get your day started, to position your mind, your mindset go a long way, influencing your day. I believe you've been inspired. Wrong with the inspiration, it is heart to heart. All right. Okay, it's now time for us to look into the national dailies and see what the papers are saying for today. As a matter of fact, we have a lot of headlines that we will be looking at today. I will get started with the Nation's newspaper for you this morning. On the Nation's newspaper, we have this headline, and of course, we'll bring it to you from above the nameplate. Orure, that's the kicker. Wives of abductors for arraignment arrested kids to go home. All right, this one says Nigeria orders to form single block for global cocoa supply. That's beautiful. That's one of the things Nigerians have really longed for. At 92, Soyinka is leaving repository of knowledge, says Tinubu. Nigeria records 74 months high crude production. And that takes us to the big story. The big story right here on the Nation's newspaper. The kicker is APC. Then we have the main headline which says ADC NDC not ready for polls. This is APC saying ADC, NDC not ready for polls. If you really want to know why the All Progressive Congress is saying the ADC and NDC, which seems to be one of the main opposition party, are not ready for the election, for the polls. You can pick a copy of the Nation's newspaper and go through it. Because so much happening, even in APC, sometimes I sit down to ask myself questions. Which of the political parties can we say is void of maybe hitches, crisis? It could be internal, it could be external, but as it is, I think for APC to say this, we can actually say, well, this is something that we can actually put one or two together and really know what they are talking about. But then we have another picture story here. We say bee birds, all right, door to door. This one this time is not the city boys, is door to door. Up next is, those are the headlines from the Nation's newspaper as we look at the Nigerian News Direct for you this morning. Over to you, Priscilla.
All right, thank you very much, Ramsey. The Nigerian News Direct has its first story about the debate that reads, Edo local government polls, APC wins all 18 chairmanship, 192 councillorship seats. You find that detail on page 63. Zulum donates 200 million naira to support orthopedic hospital Azari expansion. Details on page 29. And then to the star story, federal government approves hike in WAEC NECO fees to 50,000 naira. As article warns, hike will price millions out of school. Well, there has been the conversation around the increment of WAEC fees, and I heard that this is also coming with uniforms. I don't know how this reform or structuring.
So those writing WAEC will have their uniform.
That's what it's looking
instead
like.
Of mufti. Then of course.
So they usually wear uniform of the schools. Maybe WAEC is trying to give a WAEC uniform. I don't know.
Okay, WAEC uniform.
I was
looking at external.
Because That's what I'm saying. People.
No, this is extra burden.
This is people usually use.
They should allow them to use their school uniform.
So I don't know what this is about.
But what about the hike in price?
Exactly. So I was speaking recently about the NEL Fund, and as much as I really like the idea of NEL Fund, I wanted to trickle down to even primary, secondary schools, because some children cannot afford WAEC fees, and now we are having a hike. People cannot afford school fees. Can we have NEL Fund also, targeted primary and secondary schools, so that parents and caregivers, guardians will be able to send their children to school, because it takes you to finish primary, secondary, JAMB, WAEC before you now access NEL Fund. So where we should focus is the foundation. But let's see how all of this.
But while you were speaking, I just remembered a young lady, this wife that they just registered, that was running from pillar to pole. The parents were running from pillar to pole to borrow money. Where to get money to get her registered for that amount, for the previous amount. So what will happen to people in that category if this hike is being implemented? We are trying. This is a country where we are trying to ensure that people leave the streets to the classroom. Where we want to revalidate our educational sector and, of course, make the children know that education is not a scam. And we still have this. Is this to encourage or prevent people from studying?
I don't know. I can't even answer that question.
Well, it's a good question.
Let our viewers read page 2 of the Nigerian News Direct to get answers to all the questions that Ramsey has raised this morning. Let's go to the next story. NDPHC commences restoration of 225 megawatts Bahrain NIPP plant. Details on page 21. NTLEA intercepts Okada rider with 100 wraps of meth, seizes 10.3 billion naira cannabis at Lagos Port. Details on page 23. Federal government breaks ground on 12 megawatt solar mini grid to electrify over 13,000 homes, businesses. Details on page 5. INEC extends deadline for submission of 2027 election candidate list. Details on page 23. Those are your headlines for the Nigerian News Direct. Next point of call is the Punch newspaper.
All right, let's quickly look at the Punch newspaper this morning and see the headlines that we have on the Punch newspaper. Beginning from the top, that's above the header. This one says, recovered ISWAP footage reveals Palestinian trainer, Moroccan doctor. That is army. Then this one says, rescued Oyo pupils may meet families today. All right, meaning they've been with the federal government, so they will be with their families today. A foreign debt servicing gulp almost $1 billion in 2 months. $1 billion in 2 months. 2027 presidency. APC Muslim ticket sparks fresh debate. I think over the weekend, I saw that there were speculations around who is going to be the running mate of the president in 2027, and it was made clear that the current vice president is still going to be the running mate of the president, and some persons are raising concern now. But then the Muslim ticket has worked before, and that's what we have now. This is just like a return, a continuation of their tenure. They are returning for the next 4 years. That's what it means. So I don't think this should be much of a problem. All Nigerians are saying is good governance, irrespective of religion. All right, but then Nigerians have the right to express their feelings and what they think about certain things being done by the government and the political parties which they belong. All right, let's get back to the papers and see more headlines on the Nation's newspaper this morning. This one says, that's the big story, of course. Troops kill 274 insurgents as Nigeria records 882 attacks. Wow. All right, let's look at some riders for you here today. Borno tops violence charge with 172 fatalities. Zamfara, Plateau follow. U.S. border report says insurgents target 8 workers, cargo trucks, and schools. That is the report coming from the United States. Report identifies Borno's Monguno axis as Nigeria's critical humanitarian flashpoint. And of course, commuters stranded as flood wreaks havoc on Lagos-Ogun roads. Well, the issue of flooding, some of this flooding can be attributed to so many things. Some people have seen people throw refuse into moving waters and it could block the drainage, and at the end of the day the same people suffer it. So I don't know what the sanitation officers will do or how they will enforce it such that this is stopped, especially for people who sell around the marketplaces, people who have shops. A fake agency scandal, pleased to arraign controversial DG Tuesday. NDLEA arrests South African woman over 5.75 kg cannabis haul. All right, South African woman. All right, I don't want to say more, so you can use your tongue to count your teeth. Only 217,784 meters installed under $500 million per project, according to report. So what happened to the rest? Probably the project is still ongoing. Those are the headlines for you from the Nation's newspaper. Coming up next is The Guardian.
Okay, thank you very much, Ramsey. The Guardian newspaper begins with the very first story, top left corner below the nameplate, and it reads, Trump's new Africa convoy visits Nigeria, presents new migration deal. Details on page 3. Oyo decries doctor-patient ratio gaps, widening infrastructure deficit. Details on page 3. Dangote cracks down on illegal haulage, offers 500,000 naira reward for whistleblowers. Details on page 2. Nigeria leaves e-waste recycling to hustlers, misses out on $89 billion income. I totally agree. Well, we definitely need restructuring, so that we take our recycling as a nation better, because there is so much income lying in recycling. You want to find out details on page 6. The economic opportunity gap. Okay, there is an animated illustration there that gives you the toxic human toll, brought to you by The Guardian. Next story, terrorists kill 9 platoon family members, 18 in Benue attack. We are hearing of another new drama. Well, details on page 30. Atiku, Nant, fault proposed 50,000 naira WAEC NECO fee hike. Everyone is faulting this. Let accountability prevail in probe of NNPCL's 210 trillion naira shortfall. PFIPC, police arraign Adeyemi tomorrow as pressure mounts on Senate. ICPC. How intelligence-led operations aided rescue of abducted Orire victims. Details on page 5 and 6 respectively of those two stories. And finally, we have 2027 Igbo leaders raise concern over suppression of opposition. You want to find out detail on page 7. Those are your headlines for The Guardian newspaper. Next point of call is the New Telegraph.
All right, let's quickly look at the New Telegraph for you this morning. Now, maybe the Igbos are reacting to what Peter Obi said, that he doesn't know if he's going to be alive until 2027, and whether or not he is going to be contesting for the position of the presidency for NDC, and that his business is being frustrated by the current administration. Probably that's what the Igbos are reacting to. Well, let's bring you more headlines from the New Telegraph this morning. On the New Telegraph newspaper this morning, we have some very striking stories. I'm getting started with the big story, which is the star story on the New Telegraph. Protection of financial livelihood by powerful actors fueling terrorism in Nigeria. This is coming from Amachari. And we have some riders to that story. The first rider says, National Assembly, how Tinubu's State Police Initiative will help combat insecurity. That's the National Assembly saying that. Then the second rider says, bandits have no religion. Stop linking criminality to Islam. Ulu is the one saying that. Armed headers attack Benue community, kill residents. Well, that picture is gory. Don't even go watch it. Don't even see it. I was seeing it. I was looking at it a few minutes ago, and I couldn't behold what I saw. The attack happened early hours of Sunday morning. That's a guerrilla attack. When people are sleeping, you just come take people's life. If they are strong enough, why not come during the day? So it could be a combat. But then this is one of their strategies. And now, 2 more headlines. Demand deposit, increase competition, boost bank customer saving to 39.43 trillion naira. And of course, we have this on which says that Jakarta complex to start massive liquid steel production. That's going to be a good news for Nigerians. Still on the New Telegraph. Soldiers kill ISWAP cameraman, uncover foreign terrorist trainer, doctor in Borno forest. Wow. INEC extend deadline for submission of presidential NAS candidates. Details you can find on page 2 and 6. And one right to that story which says Serap sues commission over claims APC governors diverted which sum of money 800 billion naira for campaign. That's in the news this morning. Illegitimacy of electoral mandates, main reason for insecurity. Abdul Kalo is the one saying that, and says there should be basic guarantees before states policing. Details you can find on page 9 and 10. That's coming from Odin Kalo. And of course, this one says Remi Tinubu urges prominent musicians to support charitable foundations. If you want to know who these musicians are, just pick a copy of the New Telegraph and go through it. Wiki-backed PDP faction celebrates successful upload of presidential candidates. Well, the fight is not over yet. Oyo rescue, don't forget other Nigerians still in captivity, Khan tells federal government. So, in other words, your job is not over yet. ASU's hail federal government marking day over rescue of abducted pupils, teachers, urges more efforts to free others. Another rider says a rescue principal's family seeks joint action on Nigeria's challenges. Salute Tinubu and Oyo governor. Why federal government should end rehabilitation of repentant terrorists by lawyers. Okay, and of course, this is a study. Losing sleep may trigger weight gain. That is what a study that was done is saying this morning, and it's worth taking note of. All right, up next is Daily Independent.
Okay, thank you very much, Ram. See, Daily Independent has its first story above the nameplate, and it reads, condemnation mounts over new 50,000 naira WAEC NECO exam fees. Next story, Serap sues INEC over alleged 800 billion naira FAC fund diversion by APC governors. The star story, Nigeria's economic recovery leaving millions behind, and that's coming from a report. APC sweeps Edo Council polls, wins all 18 chairmanship seats. Details on page 7. INEC extends deadline for 2027 presidential NAS candidates list. On page 6 is where you see that Wiki-led PDP uploads presidential NAS candidates to INEC portal. Details on page 7. Khan hauls Oyo pupils rescue urges. Khan hauls Oyo pupils rescue urges total freedom by all hostages. Details on page 6. E-payment fraud loses drop, but advanced cyber tactics rise. Finally, 18 killed in fresh headsman attack on Benue communities. Details on page 7. And those are your headlines for the Daily Independent. The next one, of course. Okay, I don't know if that will be all for now, but we have the. Okay. We have the blueprint.
Okay, let's finally take the blueprint newspaper before we come up with Ogochukwu Mobuno, who is going to be bringing us, of course, social buzz. But before then, the big story here, that paper has been taken over by Renewed Hope Project. But then, few headlines. Freed all children, teachers. Omi Abbas Kalo orders hail Tinubu troops gallantry. A troop kill ISWAP cameraman in Borno forest. Uncover foreign trainer and doctor. South African woman using 3-year-old son as drug carrier nabbed in Abuja. I don't know. You're training a child. I don't know. But I don't want to talk about that because it's bad for me. I don't like it. All right. Those are the headlines for you this morning, everyone. But then we will also want to inform you that Global Television does not have editorial contribution to any of the newspapers. It is entirely the property of the newspaper houses. Let's take a quick break. After this break, we'll return. And it will be time for Ogochukwu Mobuno to bring us Social Buzz. Stay with us.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Usoro.
On Global Television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust our multi-platform news broadcast, real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
At Wichtech Cables, we don't just make cables, we deliver excellence. Our products are built with advanced technology, trusted for their unmatched quality and durability. With a wide range of cables, swift delivery, and continuous innovation, we stay ahead of the market demand. We are proudly Nigerian, fully indigenous, yet world-class. Backed by a professional team, strong technical support, and a deep commitment to customer satisfaction. Wichtech Cables is more than a brand, it's a promise. Wichtech Cables, quality cables better than the best.
At Erojim Shoe Factory, excellence starts from the ground up. Located at number 1 Pound Road behind Nigeria Correctional Service, Aba, Abia State. We produce 1,500 high-quality shoes every single day. Paramilitary shoes, safety boots, desert boots, ankle shoes, back-to-school footwear. All crafted with state-of-the-art equipment and built for strength, comfort, and durability. For reliable footwear that stands the test of time, choose Erojim Shoes for better product, strong steps, smart style. For inquiries, call 091-264-53399 or 070-3009-3944 or 080-6573-8374 or call 081-3167-3668. Email info@erojim.com. Website www.erojimdesign.com. Aerogym. Walk with confidence. Walk with pride.
When social media speaks, we listen and we bring you the extra. It's your one-stop shop for trends, tweets, and the tea everyone's sipping on. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, and get that extra dose of what's shaking the internet.
And on the issues making wave on social media to your doorstep.
Social Boss Extra, where the trend meets the talk, only on Global TV.
Good morning, Nigerians and viewers around the world. It's time to look at buzzing issues making the rounds on social media. Today, we're looking at Nigerian parents to pay 50,000 naira to register each child for WAEC or NECO SSE from the year 2027. This is an 82% increase from the previous fee of 27,500 naira. The federal government approved the new examination fee of 50,000 naira for candidates sitting the West African Examination Council WAEC and National Examination Council NECO Senior School Certificate Examination SSCE, with the new rates taking effect from 2027. The approval was contained in a June 18 statement signed by Deniji Ibrahim, Director of Senior Secondary Education at the Federal Ministry of Education. It followed a request by WAEC for an upward review of the SSCE registration fee. According to Ibrahim, the decision was reached after a March 2026 meeting between the Minister of Education and examination boards, where the need to review examination fee was discussed. He said the minister also directed both WAEC and NECO to adopt a uniform examination fee. The increment has drawn criticism from students and opposition figures. Well, we're going to be taking some comments right there, and the first comments we're taking from social media as regards this particular story is coming from Official CC. And CC says, what is the government of Nigeria doing for Nigerians? Because from my point of view, now they do everything for them. All right, thank you, CC. The next one is going from Anosi K. Emmanuel. And Emmanuel says, rates of secondary school dropout will increase. God bless Nigerian graduates creating jobs for themselves. Thank you, everyone who dropped their comments today for this topic here on Global Morning. And yes, I'm not alone discussing this. I'm with Priscilla Obasi. Priscilla is the best time, by the way, to discuss this. Good morning, Priscilla.
I'm a Nigerian, by the way. So
you're not just in Nigeria. I think that's your beat education. So good morning. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. Good morning, Ogochukwu.
All right. How was your weekend?
Well, we thank God.
It looks like a good weekend for you, though. All right. So we're talking about education. And Priscilla, just like I said, I think you're the best hand to actually handle this particular topic because, of course, you cover education. And when I saw over 25% increase, I asked myself just that same question that one of the comments reads, which is, what exactly is the government doing for us? In 2027, we are going to expect a lot because we are packaging ourselves or getting ready for the tax, and we are also seeing some other things. When it comes to education, I think to a very large extent, it should be free. It should be very, very free, especially at government school. I remember when I wanted to write WAEC, I didn't pay a dime to write WAEC. It was free.
Wow.
So what's yes, it was totally free. I don't know, but my school in Delta State, and I don't know if it's the state, maybe it's the state government, but then in Delta State, all when it comes to WAEC and NECO, it was free. Okay, NECO had, I think they were paying something, but WAEC was free everywhere in Delta State. So I don't know how we got here.
Well, maybe that was a state initiative because I wrote WAEC and I paid, and I know a lot of people.
Where did you write WAEC?
Kaduna State.
Oh.
I wrote WAEC in Kaduna State. It was 2010, yeah.
So I would say kudos to the Delta State government.
Yes,
so now I think they are doing very great when it comes to education in Delta State.
It was definitely a state initiative because if it was a federal thing, I think it would have also touched other parts of the country. But I mean, we're here where we talk about Nigeria again. I mean, that is what we do on Global Morning to analyze situations in Nigeria. And this is coming up. I'm not quite surprised because, like someone commented, we're the ones doing things for this government. I was speaking earlier with Ramsey, and I had spoken about this, also severally with others when I commented on the whole NEL Fund initiative. I've said severally that NEL Fund is a good initiative, although we are hearing cases of, fraud somewhere, people trying to duplicate school fees, payments and all of that. You know how Nigeria can be. But NELFund is a good initiative, but can we trickle it down to primary and secondary education? Because it takes a graduate, someone that's gone through the primary school, secondary school, to be able to access NELFund. And when you ask this government what they've done towards education, the first thing they always mention is NELFund. Whereas we have people that are unable to write WAEC, even before this increment. Every single year, they are challenged with WAEC. I was trying to carry out a program then, and I went to a government school that season to tell them, okay, I need students that will participate in this program. And guess what? One of the teachers there saying, sister, please help us with money. There's a student that they sent home for school fees. I'm not here for this. I am just trying to also contribute my own quota. It is not time for me to use the choir. You guys have a channel, to report these things to and all. But she was really, sad. She was just a concerned teacher, by the way, and said she was talking about how a particular student had been sent home for school fees, and that student is about to stop school because of school fees. And I'm like, in a government school, why should we be talking about these things? What is the government actually doing? Because in the reality of things, there are people that cannot afford education. They can't even afford the food to eat every 1 square meal. Let me not even go to 3, because nobody talks about 3 square meal anymore. People are in Nigeria right now that don't have what to eat. They don't even know how to get their next meal. They don't know what to do. And it's their reality every single day. Yes, the government cannot come and feed us every day, but what are they doing to cushion the effects of these things? How is it that we don't have an education system that at least caters to some vulnerable communities? There are people that are displaced at this moment. How is that? Is it possible for them to go to schools? Most times you see, we saw the first lady of Nigeria talking to Burna Boy and Davido,
talking about them, that
telling them to help Nigerians. And I'm like, how did we get here? Are people not supposed to do things basically because
she said it's too much for the federal government to handle?
So now Nigerian citizens now
will help
the federal government, which is the comment that one person here raised. So that the ones that are helping the government. At what point will we receive the dividend of democracy? Because we keep borrowing money. We keep borrowing money every time. We have removed fuel subsidy. We have done every kind of economic reform, but it has not trickled down to the common man. Yes, they are good on paper. They sound really nice.
Very nice.
But when would it be able to impact the lives of ordinary Nigerians? When are we going to be able to invest in our transportation sector? When are we going to be able to go to the street and see that there is a subsidized transportation? There is CNG everywhere. There are electrical cars everywhere. What happens to the government with all the monies that we borrow and we say we have, with everything that we have been able to recover from fuel subsidy? What happens to a government that says, okay, let me provide this electric vehicle so that at least you have affordable transportation, subsidized transportation? If you make all these things, all these amenities available for Nigerians, you don't need to bribe them to come and vote for you in any election. You don't need to come and rig elections. It is something that is visible, but it looks like it's an intentional thing to keep people in poverty so that you don't have to work. Because when people vote for you basically because you work, you know that somehow it means that you are supposed to still work more. So, but when it's based on you have bought their consciences, you don't owe them any work.
Very true.
You can just have your way,
Very true.
Get away with anything. You've paid for it, so it's just what your money is working for. You understand? So, is it an intentional strategy to keep Nigerians in poverty so that you don't exercise the work? You're not true leaders indeed. You don't owe anyone accountability. You do what you want to do and get away with it. Is that the kind of democracy we are running? This is really uncalled for. If we are saying we want to, I understand that yes, these bodies, but I hope at the end of the day, these people run with money. They need money to function. I hope it trickles down to the salaries of these people that work with WAEC. I hope it's not just a set of people that are going to carry this money, and the ones that have been working, the cleaners, everybody that make sure that WAEC functions.
Yes.
I hope it trickles down to their pockets too. I hope they see an increment, because yes, we know they need this pay, but let it be that indeed whatever it is they are in prison is even serving the purpose of those that are laboring in these particular agencies. And all. I can't. I'm at this point, I don't even know what to say anymore.
You're overwhelmed.
It's overwhelming, but we can only hope and pray for a better Nigeria.
I'm tired of hoping and praying, to be very honest.
Do we have a choice?
Every day I keep telling myself, okay, you know what, we just have to hope and pray. Of course, the renewed hope agenda and all of that. We just have to stick to it and keep our fingers crossed and hoping for it. But then the next news you hear when you go on social media or try to read the news, you hear something that you lose hope. That little hope you're trying to hold on to, you lose it, because you're asking yourself why. When I saw this news yesterday evening, my heart was shattered, because first of all, I remembered years ago when I wrote WAEC, just like I said earlier, I did not pay a dime for it. It was totally free. All you needed to do was to bring your writing materials, come to school and write WAEC. It was free. Even when they said, oh, they cancelled, I think we did maths twice that year. They cancelled the first one, we wrote the second one. It was free. Nobody said bring 10 naira for it. Anyways, you just said that might be like a state government thing, which is very, very good. I don't know if I have to really find out if they still continue that in Delta State, but it was free in Delta State, and you just write and go your way, except maybe when you are paying for GCE. So then I saw this and I'm like, okay, minimum wage is how much? Let's start from there. That's 70,000 naira. If you have
how many people receiving 70,000 naira?
Let's start from 70,000 naira. Let's start from the the minimum wage, the way it's supposed to be, 70,000 naira. If you have 2 children or 3 children writing WAEC, just like I grew up so fast. I used to say I grew up so fast because I think I wrote WAEC very early. I wrote common entrance very early, so I joined my brothers. So I grew up with them. We wrote WAEC, senior WAEC, the same time. So my parents had 3 children writing WAEC. Let me assume that it was now. My parents, they have to pay 150,000 naira. How much is my dad earning, or was he earning? To pay 150,000 naira, that's above minimum wage. And you have other things to pay for, because school will tell you pay for mock exam. They pay for mock exam these days.
Yes.
Pay for this exam.
School fees too.
Yes, you pay school fees. I remember then.
You still pay.
To be very honest. Okay, so I did my secondary school in like 2 different places in Abuja. Nigeria. So the first one in Abuja was in Gwarimpa, government secondary school Gwarimpa, around Life Camp Kado. And I can tell you for free that the highest school fees I paid was 3,000 naira. And even then, my parents had like 4 students in secondary school, so they had to pay like about 12,000 naira for the 4 of them.
Wow.
So sometimes my dad was like, okay, your school fees is coming. So now I'm thinking about it. 12,000 naira. Then it looks like, for now it looks like, okay, there's no value. Like there's no value for 12,000 naira, because you could just go to the market and just buy one thing, and it's just 12,000 naira. But right, it was school fees for 4 people, 4 students, which is very fair. You understand?
Even as at then.
Yes, even as at then. So I moved over to Delta State to complete my education, and guess what? I only paid for PTA. I only paid 600 naira. God bears me witness, I have my receipts. 600 naira for PTA. That was the only thing. I paid PTA, SS2, paid PTA, SS3, and that was all. Maybe if they tell you, okay, bring money for broom, do you know those little things you just don't have to pay for, maybe like 100 naira, 200 naira, and that is just all. It was almost free. As a matter of fact, it was free because I'm just only paying for PTA. So what happened to that system? How come we're not able to keep up with the system? You mentioned borrowing. Like, we keep borrowing. It's almost there in the papers. Almost every month we hear that the federal government is borrowing to do this, the federal government is borrowing to do that. Okay, now you have borrowed. If you are borrowing for business, you should be ready to bring back profits. So now you have borrowed, you have put it there in the system. What is the dividend of that borrowing? What is the return? It's not we're not seeing any return, that you have to still milk poor Nigerians of their very little and tiny penny. As a matter of fact, I see one comment that says that a lot of dropouts, we are going to see a lot of dropouts, and that's just it. Because I was coming to work this morning, even under the rain, I saw little children coming to school, and guess what? The elder brother was almost barefoot because the slippers was already eaten, like under you could see hole in that slippers. That's the senior one I saw with the other little ones, and the other ones were just managed to wear one rubber shoe. I don't know if it's a proper sandals, but it wasn't proper at all. They were under the rain trying to go to school. These are Nigerians that are still trying to keep their hope alive. Then you tell their parents you have to pay so and so amount. Who knows if that child actually ate before leaving the house? That's the first question. Did you really eat before leaving the house, or the mother gave you akara, 20 naira? Say, okay, hold this akara. When you get home, look for gari, or when you get to a school, look for gari. Before you know it, these children become thieves. Before you know it, because they have to go pick somebody's stuff or pick something from school just to make sure that they are comfortable, or maybe get what others are getting. Before you know it, okay, this boy, I'm using this boy as a case study. he's done with, when he's done with primary school, right now he's in primary school, when he's done with primary school, he's moving over to secondary school. The next question he's asking himself is, how do I get money for school fees? Growing up, I saw some students or children in the market. Whenever I go to the market there with my auntie, young, very little children, almost my age then, they were pushing barrow. Some of them were grinding. If you go to grind maybe egusi, it's not like their parents had a shop in market, or this was their own investment. Maybe someone just gave them the machine and said, okay, grind. At the end of the day, you take 500 naira, then you give me whatever it is you have. That was what they were doing. I felt very bad, but I couldn't help then. I was so young. So, I'm now taking Nigerians back. I don't even think back, because I think back was better. So where are we going to? That's the question. Because before was better. My dad did marketing, and guess what? He did marketing in the University of Liverpool. He studied from Nigeria. It was easy. He got everything he wanted to get from Nigeria. Like in Nigeria, he was in Nigeria. He never went to Liverpool, except maybe when he said they graduated. So it was very easy. He said what he paid wasn't even up to 100 naira to get that. 100 naira. I remember there was a song one day called sang, and he said he remembered that back in the days they said one naira is equals to $1. Back in the day they said when you graduate from school you get a job. There were so many promising things, and it was working then. Right now, even our train station, how functional is that train station? Then now we are coming down to education. If you cripple education, you have crippled Nigeria. Because I think this is one of the things we actually hold on to, we boast on, because most parents in Nigeria or in Africa, they'll tell you they want their children to go to school. Parents in Africa do not really believe in entrepreneurship, except for now. Right now, they are beginning to push their children to go learn a skill, go learn something.
Absolutely.
But naturally, a typical Nigerian parents wants their children to go to school, at least be able to get your BSc degree. Get that. That's the standard for most parents in Nigeria. So if you start crippling it from now, how do you expect that child to actually grow? So that means some persons can actually stay right now without no SSC, because that's like a standard. You have to get this SSC results, that's WAEC results. When you have your WAEC results, it's okay, you go to school. So an extent you get, it's like there will be like a respect, to that person. You're able to pass WAEC, because we know WAEC. If you're able to pass WAEC, okay, you went to school, maybe there's hope for you. You can further in College of Education, or maybe you go to Polytechnic, or maybe after you proceed in university. But right now you want to cripple that.
Yeah, we're even coming to that point where we're going to start glorifying WAEC results.
Honestly.
Because for you to be able to afford 50,000 naira, I mean, why should I now go to the university? I've paid the ultimate price. That's what it's looking like right now. So nobody will really have the hunger, the quest to go for higher education anymore, because this is okay.
I paid my price.
I paid my price. This is more than enough. That is where we're going to, for a generation that don't even want to go to school anymore, that have believed that school is scam. Yes. You are telling them that 50,000 for WAEC.
Really?
This is so too much of a fortune for them. This is so much of an achievement for them.
Honestly.
Right? Because and you can imagine what that would do to our society. As you say, if you cripple the educational system, you have crippled down the nation, you have crippled down everything that we believe in. And I don't know the kind of youths we want to have in the next generation. But I don't know. Again, it boils down to you and I, how we can eliminate bad leadership. Because ultimately, it rises.
I feel like the government is overwhelmed. The government is overwhelmed, but they're not saying it, because for the first lady to come out to say, you know what, I'm calling on Asake, Burna Boy, Light of Davido, and all of that to create a foundation help. These people have been doing so much. Let's be very honest. If you follow all of them, you know that they all have been doing so much. But if you are calling on them and begging or resting on them for their help, then the federal government is overwhelmed. That's the only thing I can say at this point. Thank you so much, Priscilla, for your time and also your contribution to today's topic. And yes, I'll be leaving you the hands of Priscilla and Ramsey Enoch Abu as they usher us into the discussion section of Global Morning. I am Ogochukwu Mobino, and once again, good morning, Nigerians and viewers around the world. Bye for now.
When social media speaks, we listen and we bring you the extra. It's your one-stop shop for trends, tweets, and the tea everyone's sipping on. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, and get that extra dose of what's shaking the internet.
And on issues making wave on social media to your doorstep.
Social Buzz Extra, where the trend meets the talk, only on Global TV.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Usoro.
On Global Television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust our multi-platform news broadcast real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG. At Erojim Shoe Factory, excellence starts from the ground up. Located at number 1 Pound Road behind Nigeria Correctional Service, Aba, Abia State. We produce 1,500 high-quality shoes every single day. Paramilitary shoes, safety boots, desert boots, ankle shoes, back-to-school footwear. All crafted with state-of-the-art equipment and built for strength, comfort, and durability. For reliable footwear that stands the test of time, choose Erojim Shoes for better product, strong steps, smart style. For inquiries, call 091-264-53399 or 070-3009-3944 or 080-6573-8374 or call 080.
It's now time for us to look at the security situation in the country, beginning from the release of the Oyo pupils. Well, there have been a lot of reactions. People have said so many things, and this morning we'll have a guest in the studio who is going to be throwing more light on it. And of course, kidnapping has become, I don't want to call it a lucrative business in Nigeria, because some persons are looking at it as if it's a business as it is. But then, what are the authorities doing about it? And as a matter of fact, a lot of people have argued so many things about the situation. But then, everything being equal, we will look at all that situation for you this morning, as we have our guest who is going to be driving the conversation with us this morning in the studio. We have here the Director General, Coalition of Nigerian Youth on Security and Safety Affairs, that is CONISA, and he's right here in the studio today in the person of Ade Emmanuel. It's good to have you join us on the program.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
You're very welcome, sir.
Thank you so much.
All right, let's get into the conversation this morning. How do you feel? Nigerians are excited. Some have mixed feelings when they heard about the release of the pupils, your pupils and teachers. You, on your own part, how was it like for you?
Well, I was happy, excited, and joyous within myself that the families that have been put in total pain, silence, and agony will kind of have these arousing feelings of having their people back. As in, such a joy is beyond the money that a mother whom the daughter has been in the hands of the unknown persons, either in the bush or within a particular confine, being back to her, just like a woman who put to bed in the hospital, that joy of seeing that baby cry, that joy of looking at that baby eyeball to eyeball, that is the feeling I have, and I know definitely every other persons in the country will also have that feelings too, irrespective of what has transpired.
All right. Well, the release of the children, the pupils and the teachers, do you think, all right, there is need to also show us the people who adopted these children? Because I know there must have been talks there were talks for a very long time. We can't deny that. But these children have been released, but nobody has been arrested, or we are expecting an arrest in the coming days.
No, the truth is that like some of the media houses has carried, and from the villa, some of the news from the villa from Adenuga, who said there were some arrests and some were neutralized. These persons that were arrested, we are still expecting names outside there, just the same way it happens in the north, where there is kidnapping in the north, some of these kidnappers have been arrested, the bandits have been arrested. We see their pictures, we see their names flying everywhere. So it is one of the expectations of Nigerians that by now, that the names and the pictures of these persons should have been flying on social media. But be it as it may, looking at the case scenario of Oyo State, I think this is the first time in the annal and history of the Southwest having this kind of experience. This is the first time. Then secondly, all the while that the federal government intervened, the NSA came in, the armed forces came in, the DSSS came into the rescue mission fully.
And the forest guard.
Yes, the forest guard has little or more to do. Because when we talk about forest guard, what level of training have they have? When the NSA went there, he talked about 1,000 forest guard being recruited. The question is, under how many weeks should they be trained to now be able to engage this criminal element who are well equipped with arms and well equipped with information, and they have chain of operation. So for some of us, yes, forest guard is good, but the fact is that you cannot just bring people together under 1 week or 2 weeks and you push them into the forest. That would be a serious risk to lives of people who are not well trained, and they want to push them in the front line with a gun we called Shakabula in Yoruba land. So against somebody who is holding AK-47 and this current generational arms. So the truth is that the DSSS from their end has done very well in terms of intelligence. I give it to them 100% because so far so good. We know the level they went on this issue from our own end, and they must be commended. And it has always been an advice from our own end that when this kind of scenario happens, it is not when it happens that Nigerian government should begin to look for solution. There should have been a preparatory ground. There should have been an effective, it might be called a joint task force, but the truth is there should be a segment where both the DSSS, from the office of the NSC, from the armed forces, from the police, from the civil defense, there should be this collaboration whereby there is a trained personnel that their operations is basically on rescue. You see, these children shouldn't have even spent about 1 month in the hands of their adopters, but because our security agencies are not prepared. So not until it happens before they start bringing ABCD together to not be able to see what they could do. So the Oyo scenario has shown a weakness and a lapses from our security architecture that we are not prepared for the unknown. Yeah, it's a serious signal, and it's something that have to be called to attention. Where I've discussed it in the circle of some senior officers, and I think they really understood from the perspective I was coming from. The issue of Oyo has also opened the mindset of a lot of persons that the current society we are is no more safe. People are ready to do anything to make money, and that can be seen from the perspective of the informants, because they are locals who were informants to these people. So it might be as a result of poverty, it might be as a result of ignorance, but whatsoever it might be, there is need for this engagement, time to time engagement from the security agencies to the community people, those that lives in local community. There is no serious interface. So a lot of persons are ignorant of their role to really be able to know what to do as and when this kind of situations happens. So, and that is why you see it is only when a situation happens we start looking for solutions. So the Oyo State scenario as a kind of opened the mindset of some persons to the fact that Nigerian security architecture should have a good preparatory ground, that there are specific person, if anything happen in a particular location that have to do with lives and property, there should be that team who are ready to move at once. Now, if you also look at, it is at the cost of the rescue mission. You see the state government begin to provide what to be made use of by the security agencies within the period that they are going to be in that forest. All these things should have been well prepared, because you don't even know some of those items that were bought from the market. You don't know the link these persons are also having with this criminal element. So the preparatory ground goes a very long way to show how secure our country and the people are within their living environment. But be it as it may, I will also say this, that the Oyo State scenario, for us, I will also commend the effort of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, who has come up with this Safe School initiative, and they are focused on making sure that schools are safe. As of today, it is only civil defense personnel you see patrolling schools across the country. You see the Safe School healers, you see their bosses, and you see them engaging schools.
You know, see, we talk that engaging of school is very important.
Yeah.
Now, instead of just patrolling, can't we? This thing started from Chibok students, Kaduna students. But everywhere students, now Oyo students, attention is on schools, and we're talking about children here, all right? If attention is on schools, don't you think intelligence should tell us that we should have security operatives? That could be done by the state, even have security operatives in these schools to forestall all these things, whether it's a drama, whether it's organized, or whatever anybody is thinking it is.
But the truth is this: the total workforce of Nigerian police in this country is not up to 750,000. The total workforce of Nigerian security and civil defense is not up to 300,000. The total workforce of the armed forces, including the army, the air force, and the navy, is not up to 400,000. The total workforce of DSSS is not up to 150,000 across the country. So, among about 200 million people, what can these numbers do? The total number of security architecture in this country is up to 1.5 million. So what can these numbers do? And that is where I think the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has really tried to kind of increase the numbers of the workforce of the security agencies. You know, the last time he announced that, okay, about 50,000 should come on board, and the state police of a thing also coming on board. But the truth is this, that if we are talking about focusing on our schools, and the state government should get involved, and that is where the state policing now comes on board effectively. Now, if the state police is coming on board effectively, are they still going to be trained like the community policing that was established and could not have a way forward because they were trained, there was no salary, and they were not trained with arms? Because they were not trained to carry arms, they were only trained to a kind of gather intelligence from the local community where they come from, put it into action work, and see how a kind of dangers that are ahead can be averted. So now coming back to the school proper, if really our schools are to be well protected, number one, the government should bring more of democracy, dividends of democracy to local communities. Somebody who does not feel the impact of government in his life, somebody who does not feel the input nor a kind of sense of belonging in a government, you think such a person will want to a kind of sacrifice to the same government? Then a lot of persons too are also hostile against the security agencies because of their ordeal, what they pass through, directly or indirectly in the hands of security personnel, either being unlawfully arrested, detained, and at the end of the day, even when such a person is innocent, the person is still being extorted of his hard-earned money. Some persons even go to the extent of borrowing money to get themselves out of such a predicament. And you want such a person to be pathetic? It is impossible. So that now boils down to the fact that there is need for the government to understand the fact that people are not too happy because the government is not doing the right thing. And some of the time when they don't do the right thing, they do it at the wrong time, whereby it is for the benefit of some persons to make money and milk the Nigerian treasury. So all this has accumulated to the fact that intelligence gathering in local communities is difficult. So if our schools are to be protected, the community youth leaders, the community chiefs must be involved. And if they are to be involved, you must also have a means of a kind of giving them some little encouragement as a sign that if you do better, we will still reach out to you. You know, there is nobody, for me, to the best of my knowledge, that have worked effectively with the DSSS that his life has ever remained the same. So other security agencies, and I think the Nigerian Civil Defense is also doing well in that field. So other security agencies should learn from that end. And so when the right things are being done at the right time, you see people willingly coming out to engage, willingly coming out to a kind of say, government, we've noticed these loopholes and this is what it will lead to if it does not quickly be attended to. And from there you see that our schools will be more protected. And you see this criminal element. They are not focusing anymore on individuals. They are focusing on worship centers, they are focusing on schools, and they are focusing on ceremonial activities where they could have more of innocent persons being adopted. And you know, when there are good numbers of persons involved, the negotiation will be somehow very dubious, and you see, and it will become a national news, and everybody will be disturbed, and that is a kind of attack. And that is why Nigerian government should kind of also see need, whereby anywhere there are, it is only when serious government officials, big government officials are doing programs that you see heavy security men all over the places. But when an ordinary person is doing, you see that that place is empty. That place is empty. The young man who died, who was to be buried in Benue, and his corpse was kidnapped in Kogi. You know, it is annoying, and it is a kind of heartbreaking that people who are mourning are already in the hands of unknown people. So, and this thing has become a consistent thing. So, and the same way these security men operated in Oyo State, where the federal might all fall in, the state might fall in. Such should also fall in Kogi, where these people are kidnapped. Such should also fall in to some of those children who were kidnapped, students who were kidnapped in Niger primary school, and up to now only a few has been released, and others up to today we've not gotten any news. You know, the Kebbi, we know how it goes. Even when the kidnappers came out to say, no, we released them, we did not engage those. We released them willingly, you know. So, and it's becoming annoying that the government is aware. Sheikh Gumi came out to say that there is no meeting he has gone with these people that Nigerian government or securities are not involved. That if he's telling lie, they should come out and debunk it. And up till now, nobody has come out to say what you said is a lie. So these people are known. These people activities are not hidden. So ours is that Nigerian government and the security architecture of the country should intensify effort in preparing ahead before anything happens. So, and when that is done, we have a more safer and a secure country.
Okay, so let's assess this scenario. I don't know if you saw the clips that, but Nigerians have been, like my co-anchor said, Nigerians have been reacting to it. People are doubting the genuinity of this kidnapping, being that when you analyze the children, you see how excited, healthy, fresh they are. As an analyst, a security analyst, you doubt the authenticity of this rescue mission in any way, because they are mutants. One would expect that there was some fire combat. You know, with that kind of machineries and mercenaries.
We're trying to count them. We couldn't finish counting.
Well, I saw
plenty heroes, plenty cars.
What can we make? Can we make sense of this?
Look, the truth is, these children were kidnapped.
Okay.
The truth is, these kidnappers are not unknown because they were communicating.
So were they telling them to take care of the children? When did they keep the children?
Myself and you are not there, but the truth is that those children look healthy. Yeah. Those children does not look dirty.
Looking like people maltreated.
Look at the children of the choir when they were returned. Look at how malnourished they are.
You could see the ribs.
Their bones, seen. So, but the truth is this: these ones were not malnourished. So that means they were in the hands of a good kidnappers. Yes, they were in the hands of good kidnappers. So who always feed them well 3 times a day. Because if you look at them, there is difference between them. Just like people who are in EFCC custody and people who are in police custody.
Yes. EFCC people that were taken care of.
boy? You eat 3 times a day. Everybody eat 3 times a day. Wow. And food is very rich. And very good vicinity. I was there. I spent 22 days.
Wow!
Yes.
Are you serious?
I spent 22 days in their custody. But it's a topic for another day. Wow. Yes, it's a topic for another day. So, but the truth is that, so there's no difference between those children, between those who are in EFCC custody and those who are in police custody. Because the police custody, when you come out after 22 days, the world will know you really came out from a security personnel's hand. Mm-hmm. So, and the truth is that for some of us, looking at the whole scenario, we felt that the government were actually engaging them to a kind of, please take care of these children so that they will not die before they are released. You understand? And the Nigerian government has also come out to say ransom was not paid. So, but we are still waiting.
For what was done?
So, because the same way we had of Kebbi, that nothing was paid, the children was rescued, but at the end of the day, the same kidnappers came out and said, no, we release them, and they throw out the
kidnappers. They have guts. See the way they talk.
No, the truth is, it's a business.
Meaning they are even known to an extent.
Sekou Gumi have said it. In Kebbi, in Katsina, I don't already meeting with them. In Zafara, I don't already meeting with them. In Beirut, I don't know when, where a youth organization came up to negotiate the release of about 300 and something persons. You know, even when the security agency came out to say we rescued, the guy, young man, came out and said, no. How did you rescue? I had the meeting with them. I had the conclusion with them. Those children were released to me. You know, so our government should, at this point, be sincere with her citizens.
Exactly.
So that as at when the country is going down, the citizen can know that the country is going down. But when you continue to bring politics on board, the day the country will collapse, everybody will. So, and that is why we are encouraging, we are begging, especially for those of us from the civil society organization, especially the organization that basically focus more on bridging gap between the people and the security agencies, that Nigerian government should please see issue of security as saving of lives and property, not as something that some persons deserve and some does not deserve. If you go to a lot of local communities, even as at today, you will not have a presence of a single security personnel. As at today, I will use my hometown as an excuse. There was a barrack in my place. That barrack has collapsed.
Army barrack or police barrack?
Police barrack in my place. That has about 14 rooms.
What place is that?
In Ondo State, Akoko Southeast local government.
Okay.
That place has collapsed. As in, the building collapsed in totality. If you get there, it is hardly you see the blocks.
Is it basically because of...
There is no presence of security agent maintenance, and there is no presence of security agents in that place. So no security agent. The police station is just there. I think vigilante is the one occupying the place now.
Interesting. Okay, let's talk.
So and this is why we are begging the Nigerian government, recruiting more. The money is there. Then I think the former ID tried something, and I think I will praise him for that, where recruitment, any officer being recruited will be posted back to the community, whereby you go and serve in your local government because you understand the security terrain of your local government. Yeah. But currently, if you look at the recruitment process, you will not discover that even those that does not have the will of being a security personnel, because there is no job. He will just want to wear that uniform. Not because he wants to serve, but because he wants to have a place where he gets salary to take care of his family. A lot of people now go into security job just because they want to make and that is why you see most of them. And you see the slaughter being given to politicians, giving it to their aides who does not have that will. Because anybody you should be bringing on board to be in the front line must be somebody who has the will of the country at heart, who has the will of the people at heart. Not somebody who is just sitting in the comfort of his parlor and you call him and say, how many children do you have? Please, give me name of 2. I want to put them in road safety. I want to put them in police. I want to put them in social place. The question is, how willing is that particular person to serve the country? So all these are things of concern that surround some of the challenges we are having in our security architecture as of today. So until we begin to have those that are willing, then if you look at immediately some of our young officers are recruited, immediately they are posted, they have not really gotten that experience. You train them under 6-7 calendar months. You already train them in the front line. So those people that have attained the rank of captain, lieutenants, first lieutenant, second lieutenant, they already experienced, they have been there for years. Push them in this front line. Then let these other ones continue to learn for more 2 years before pushing them gradually. So, and why you see most of all these attacks on our army base, armed forces base in the north and other part of the country is because most of those young officers are not experienced of when, how these people will come and attack. So, and even where we have senior officers, like the last attack where this bandit came in Brunei, it kind of dismantled, killed a lot of officers, even beheaded them. It was not because they are not experienced, or because most of these persons, they have so much reliance on the fact that the money is the most important thing, not the work. But yet I must say this, that this is not offline, but the truth is, if not for the DSSS and the armed forces, to be candid, we wouldn't have a country to be called Nigeria. And the army. I'm telling you.
But then, generally now, because you were emphatic about the Northeast and all of that, gradually this thing has extended to other parts of Nigeria. While we were talking about negotiation, we are actually mentioning what's happening in the north. But this thing has escalated. Look at what is happening in Benue. If you see the picture of the number of people that were massacred on Sunday, I don't know. Then how will you explain the fact that the corpse was actually kidnapped in this country? What's happening? How strategic? My question is, how strategic is the federal government to curb insecurity? Looking at all of these scenarios.
For the federal government to curb insecurity that has ravaged the country as of today, number one, the government must be sincere to herself.
Okay.
The government must be sincere to herself. And if the government is sincere to herself, that is when we will now get the fact that there are some persons within the government who have seen this insecurity as a business. Then within themselves, they can flesh it out. Now, remember, Adam Oshomole regularly and kept asking, who is that senior officer that ordered for the withdrawal of the security in that school in Kebbi? And up till now, there is no response to that. So is that person above the country? Is that person above the security agencies in this country? So this goes a very long way. So until we begin to speak truth to power, until we begin to confront ourselves with the truth, then we begin to have a solution to what has bedeviled us, that is called insecurity. The case of Benue, expected that after the killing of the Metiola chairman in Benue, that they should actually expect a reprisal. And we expected that the security agencies should have been ahead of these people. So, but because we are not always prepared, it is when it happens that we start looking for solution. So then funding also goes a very long way. When these officers that are in the front line are not properly taken care of, how do you expect them to function effectively? How do you expect their morale to be high? That even if I die, my wife, my children has a hope of surviving without me. So all this calls to serious attention, and all this will really help if the security agencies, the personnel are properly taken care of. Right. 2, if the Nigerian government will be sincere to herself. Then 3, state government taking up security as a priority, seeing it as sole responsibility that even as they are planning to eat, they should also look at the security of every other citizen that they are governing over in their state. Because you cannot continue to say my state is not secured while from your own end you are not doing anything. Just like the case of the governor of Ondo State, on daily basis is out there to make sure that if anything happens anywhere, his men are already there to be able to give him accurate report. Then he give directly to the security chiefs in the state that I want this done.
All right, thank you very much. Well, this conversation, we are going to have it again. You can see we can continue. So many questions in my mind that I would love to ask, but time is not on our side right now because we need to get into the second conversation. Thank you very much, Ambassador Adeyemanu, for joining us on the conversation today. It has been a wonderful time talking about insecurity, assessing the Oyo rescue and the fight against kidnapping in the country. It's been a wonderful time with the Director General Coalition of Nigerian Youth on Security and Safety Affairs, Dr. Ambassador Adeyemanu. We will be making way for the second conversation right now after this break, because we need to look into some of the things happening in the polity. This morning, ADC came out to say, well, it appears as if ADC and NDC are not ready for the polls. All right, how prepared are the political parties and their candidates ahead of the 2027 election? This conversation will come with us.
Delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all. From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Usoro.
On Global Television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust a multi-platform news broadcast real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
And the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
Thank you, everyone. It's now time for us to look at the preparedness of political parties and their various candidates ahead of the general election coming on. Well, preparation is heavy, and this conversation is worth talking about. Joining us on the conversation this morning is Andrew Abu, I beg your pardon, and of course, he is the national chairman of the Progressive Forum, and he's an APC member. It's good to have you join us on the conversation this morning, Andrew.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir, for being here.
Thank you.
So let's look at the political parties. Someone said one of the regime or administration that there have been a lot of litigations, court case today, court case tomorrow, adjournment, go to appeal court, and all of that is this administration. But then it's not particular to the All Progressive Congress, but political parties, their members, and other political affairs. So we've had both internal and intra-political affairs that is somehow pushing towards the 2027 election. Why do we have all this up and downs in these political parties when they should be preparing for the 2027 election?
Okay, yeah. Once again, thank you for having me. I think it's only natural that when the stakes are high, you see people jostling for positions, especially elective position in Nigeria. Nigeria is a country of about 200 and something million. I don't know what the statistics really is. I mean, sometimes people say 230, they say 250 million. And what that means is that the space, the political space and the positions available for people to contest is very slim. And naturally, the stakes will be very high regardless of how many political parties we have. Of course, in reality, we have maybe like 3 or 4 very functional political parties, the APC, even the PDP, as we don't even know where they are at the moment. Now we have what looks like is going to be a contention, the ADC, because it has a relatively wide spread across the country. Yeah, then of course the NDC, and we all know why the NDC would also be considered. We have 2 big people there, the Peter Obis and the Kwankwaso. These are people that have reasonable following, political following in the country, and for wherever stakes are high, they're bound to have people jostling and throwing everything at it. I think that is basically what happened. It's a global practice, but of course, again, I'll still tie it to our population. That's why this litigation issue is very prevalent in our system here.
Okay, like never before, we've seen a lot of support organizations. You have you coming from the Progressive, And we've seen the Renewed Hope agenda. We've seen a lot of movement.
The City Boys.
The City Boys movement. I don't think this really is, something prevalent. It's quite new to the 2027 elections. Is this a subtle campaign, approach, strategy, basically before INEC officially gives the go-ahead for campaigns? Because this is already campaign, or don't you think it is?
Okay, so I don't think there is any wrong in trying to set up structures in preparedness for campaigns. I think that's basically what's happening. If you follow, so City Boy came up in 2022. 2022. I mean, owing to the build-up to 2023 general elections, it's a relatively new group. My group, the Progressive Forum, it used to be the All Progressive Youth Congress, APYF, Youth Forum, APYF. We started even before the merger in 2014. So the group came on stream in 2013. My members are people I've known since 2013. Okay. Now, and I'm the third chairman of the group. Now, we have always existed, and the APC has always had very huge groups within the ranks of the party. Okay, of course, we all know why City Boy is very prominent. The president's son is the person who is more like the patron of the group, and he's the person coordinating everything. And of course, it's only natural that he wields some certain level of, influence, and everybody wants to be associated with the president's son, and I think that's basically what I mean. Not to say they are doing a very good job. I mean, they did. I followed the activity in 2022. And also don't forget that we have new people that are, joining the ranks of politics. You have new breeds that are coming in with new vigor and new renewed aggression when it comes to how the political space should operate. Our politics is growing, and for me, I think that is what is more important. We have a lot of young Nigerians that are interested in what our political space should look like. I mean, gone are those days where we just sit back and say, I bet politics is for people that does not have work to do and all of that. Unfortunately, the trend is changing, because regardless of the fact that you think the people that are in politics does not have what it takes to lead you, they are the ones that will create the policy that will drive both public and private sector in the end. So I think that consciousness and that reality, that comes with the fact that if we don't get involved, we'll have mediocres leading us. So yes, I think your question had a second leg.
My question here is the support groups now. Is it a subtle way of campaigning before election campaigns begin proper? I mean, INEC officially dictates the dates for election campaigns, because we're already seeing campaigns. Is it supposed?
So I won't call it campaigns. What I will say is people are setting up structures, and I attended an inauguration. There's this PBAT inauguration they held at one of these big hotels. I don't want to call names so that I don't give free advert.
I thought you guys are supposed to promote each other.
No. So there's that's why I said there's a PBAT campaign, and not campaign, group that just inaugurated their national ESCO, and state ESCO. So all this is in preparation to when INEC is going to lift ban on campaign by next month. Okay, so everybody, you must prepare grounds for operations. So that's basically what is happening. I know that campaigns have not yet started, and sometimes people flout these rules. Okay, but again, there is a regulator that should step in and halt every activity that has to do with campaigns.
Because we just billboards and disguise it with a support group. It's not looking as if support groups are now the political parties.
So support groups have always existed. In 2015, the APC had about 2,000 plus support groups. Okay, but like I said, support groups have strength. Okay, and their strength is measured by who is behind the support group. Okay, So I know that the person that is also behind the PBAT is somebody who is also influential and has, the wherewithal to be able to run those support groups. Okay, I'm here today speaking as the Progressives Forum National Chairman. I have a lot of people who are in government who is in my group. I have like ministers, I have EDs, I have DGs, I have chairman of very high agencies in the country. I also work in an agency, So I think what is more important is for us to have boots on ground, so that as we're going into 2027 election, which for me I know is not going to be a walk in the park. Okay. And I tell all the APC people that I have interactions with that look, right now it is looking like the opposition is not put together. But once the campaign starts, a lot of people are throwing a lot of strategy into these 2027 elections. And that's why you can see an ADC leader coming out to start querying why INEC, the court is giving INEC the powers to deregister NDC. So you'll be wondering, so somehow you see that everybody is working, together against, and they are working against the sitting government. Okay, so we are not taking anything to chance. We are also doing our bit to ensure that we win the election and we win it fair and square. Okay, because we don't want a situation where a win will start being contested that it was rigging.
But in Nigeria, a lot of Nigerians believe, or even up till now, a lot of people talking about your party now, there is this belief that the ruling party always have their way. Remember what happened in 2023 during the obedient movement? A lot of people came out like never before. People even traveled from abroad. People had to move to their villages where they got their voters' cards to actually cast their votes. We saw what happened. People came out with canopies, umbrellas, in fact, internet service providers to ensure that upload is done real time and all of that. But a lot of people got disappointed when they heard the result. Are we expecting something different from your last statement now in 2027 as it has to do with the All Progressive Congress? Remember, it was All Progressive Congress, all right, and Labour Party majorly in 2023.
So the fact is, for some of us, I always tell people I'm not just a member of the APC, I'm an actor in the APC, because I pride myself to always say of the people, my contemporaries, I'm probably one of the persons that have done most of the national assignment in the party when it comes to primaries, registration, and all the things that has to do with political party. Now, I knew going into 2023, I knew that it was almost going to be impossible for Peter Obi to win, and it was very evident, okay, because he didn't have the spread. He had the support, huge support on social media and a certain level of the zone or the region in the country, but he didn't have that spread across the country. And when I say across, he didn't have that spread in the core northern part of Nigeria, okay? Because even as at the time, INEC was still receiving agents, polling unit agents for all political parties. They still had not filled in. The Labour Party then had not filled in up to 57% of party agents. So clearly, it was very eminent that this is a disaster, waiting to happen. So for some of us, it was not surprising that the Labour Party candidate, as popular as he was, even did not come second. He came third because Atiku came second in that election. But overall, I think if you look at that election, it was a close call because one, if you add the vote of Atiku and Peter Obi, it comes to around 13-point-something million, as against the 8-point-something million the APC candidate, who is now the president, got. So what that means is that regardless of the fact that we won the election in 2023, we were still not as popular as the two other candidates that came second and third. their votes put together. So, and these are analysis we do, and we understand that, look, we need to see how we can bridge the gap where there are gaps and fill in the space where there are spaces. Okay, so we are very conscious of that, and that's why you see this renewed vigor of political groups doing more and seeing how they can canvass for vote once the campaigns is thrown open. So we acknowledge, because look, the fact remains that there are challenges, and I will not sit down here as a member of the APC and say all is well and dandy with the country. There are challenges, and the challenges are enormous, and it is only natural that with the kind of population we have, with the space that we have, and how little the things that everybody is trying to hang on to is, there will always be competition, there will always be struggle, and there will always be challenges, and all that stems to the level of insecurity, economic hardship, and all that is tied around the general progress of a nation. So I sit down here first as a Nigerian to acknowledge the fact that there are issues, and we as a government is doing what we can to see how we can ameliorate the hardship that is on the people. Okay, and it is only going to be a matter of time. Okay, it's only going to be a matter of time. The speedy development that Nigerians expect, unfortunately, it doesn't happen with a wave of stick. Okay, we know that the expectations are very high, and we will always continue to see how we can bridge in the gap and make life easy for Nigerians through different policies of government. Unfortunately, in the middle of all this, we now have a global, threat, which is the renewed war between Iran and the US. As at today, I was hearing that fuel price might still surge. That, of course, what it is going to mean. It's going to bring another level of hardship, because transportation is going to increase, and food price in the market is also going to increase. So we acknowledge that fact, that there are issues, and the government's job, primary responsibility, is to ensure that all Nigerians live well.
All right, okay. Let me ask this question about your political party, because we're talking about preparation for the 2027 election. I think one of the points that you've made so far is that it's not going to be all bed of roses, all right, in 2027 for any political party.
Absolutely.
Including your own party.
Absolutely.
Now, as it is, after the primary election, the primaries, there were a lot of disgruntled members of different political parties, including your own party, to the extent that recently there was a swap or a change in names of people who we were told as Nigerians that they wanted the primaries, there were changes, and of course, INEC on its own part is saying primaries that we don't supervise, that we're not part of, such names cannot be uploaded. Bello, for instance, has been a tug of war. We heard in one of the papers that the likes of Suswan is being sacrificed for Akume, as the case may be. It's on the papers. And a lot of people are saying, well, we are not satisfied because primaries never held in our polling unit, but we had results. And all of that, a lot of disgruntled members of different political parties, not just your own party. So how can this translate into people voting or working against the political parties they belong, carrying the cards in 2027? Are you expecting anything like that?
So I'll try not to go into the nitty-gritty or the nitty-gritty of the issues in states. Okay, I try to stay off conversations that have particular people involved.
Yes. You can that.
Yeah. First of, our process of election in political party was amended, and it became, so initially mode of primaries used to be direct, indirect, and consensus, and it was reduced to just direct primaries and consensus. Now, consensus, everybody has to agree. So a lot of states that tried it, people disagreed. And once you even have one person disagreeing to it, it's not a consensus. So most of the political parties resorted to direct primaries. Now, direct primaries is very expensive because all card-carrying members must be involved or should be involved, as the case may be. And it has to go through certain process. How many political parties really have the financial means to carry out direct primaries? So some level of activities happened in the process and people are disgruntled. Now you see, going by the electoral law, political parties are the ones that have the prerogative to upload or to submit the names of candidates in every elective position. That does not have anything to do with the INEC. The political party's duty is to submit names to INEC. Now, if you feel disgruntled, there is where you can take your complaints to, which is the courts. Okay, so for the names that are changed, I cannot sit down here and tell you the reasons why. At least the party, the APC, because I'll only speak for the APC. The APC have come out with a public statement that reviews were made because, of course, after every primaries, they set up committees, which is called an appeal committee. So if you feel shortchanged, you will always, make your appeal to the committees. And those appeals are not just, it's not just for the sake of the process. They go through those appeals, they look at the ones that are germane, the ones that needs to be attended to, and all that is done. So, and this is done with the NWC of the political parties. Okay, so at the end of the day, no matter how aggrieved or disgruntled you are, when the party takes a position, we are told that party is supreme. Okay, and if for anything, if it's not you today, it might be you tomorrow. And for me, that is the best practice we need to, and the sportsmanship we need to bring into our political space. It must not be you. You win some, you lose some. So, and it is only also natural that people will be aggrieved and people will, come up with complaints. So it's not out of place what is happening. As a matter of fact, if we have a primaries that does not have people complaining, then it will mean that there is something wrong somewhere. Yeah, so I think this is not out of place. Like I said in my opening remarks, when the stakes are high, you have things like this happen.
Okay, I like the fact that you empathized and you spoke as a Nigerian in your earlier statements. Yeah. But we've heard statements from prominent APC members who come here to say, oh, the reforms are wonderful, this government has beautiful reforms, and all of that, but then it will take time. The question every single Nigerian, of course, is asking is, how long do we have to wait? And from your own assessment, objectively, I want you to be able to assess the reforms so far. And then maybe you may not be an economic analyst or all of that, but let's have your review, your honest review, and have you encourage Nigerians out there. And I agree that the reforms of this government is the right way to go. Okay, implementation can be an issue. Okay, but the idea of the reforms and how it is going so far is the way to go for us to make economic progress in this country. I say this because in 2023, to the build-up of 2023 election, the major candidates all said it in their campaigns that subsidy has to go. Okay, and we know that all the challenges we have today as regards economy has to do with the full removal of subsidy. Because it is something that we have hung on to for a very long time. The government has subsidized, fuel. As a matter of fact,
until recently, a lot of people didn't even know that there was even subsidy on NEPA credit, usage of light. Government was paying so much on subsidy. Unfortunately, we got to a place in our national life where government couldn't afford to pay those things, because I remember very well that even in the Buhari's administration, we were still borrowing monies to pay subsidies, but it wasn't realistic anymore, because we had overspent and outspent, the monies that should be used for other things, infrastructural development, and providing enabling environment for people to thrive, to pay subsidy for even countries that those fuels were diverted to, as the case may be, because a lot of fuel around Nigeria that is supposed to be in Nigeria goes to neighboring countries, Chad, Nigeria, and all these places, and government were paying subsidies on those things. And somebody took a bold step and said, look, this has to stop, okay? It's never going to be an easy road for us. Now, talking about when is this going to end, there will never be a timeline. If I sit down here and put a timeline to read, I'll just be telling a big lie, okay? Is it going to be in the next 5 years? I doubt it much. Is it going to be in the next 7 years? I doubt it much. Government is a continuum. I mean, it's for us to set the foundation right and to also have successive government or incoming government build on this foundation. One of the major problems we've had in Nigeria is people a new government comes into power and start their own policy. And start their own policy. So it has always been one of the major problems we've had in Nigeria. And I'm happy that to a very large extent, this government has continued, some of the things that the previous administration has done. Now, there will always be people, a lot of Nigerians will always complain about how things are. That's the honest truth. We live here. We know how difficult things are, okay? Where the level of my fuel is in my car now, if I want to fill my tank, I'm not going to spend anything less than 65 to 70,000 naira. If I do that maths, and I do this like maybe twice or 3 times in a week, if I do the maths, I probably spend over 500,000 on fuel in a month. I don't have only one car. Now, if no matter how small the amount I spend on my second car, there is no way I'll be spending anything less than 700,000 to 800,000 monthly. Now, what that means is that no matter how much I make, I will always feel it. Okay, so I can imagine people that does not even have the kind of opportunity some of us here have. Okay, and we sympathize with them, and we sympathize with all of us as Nigerians. And I will keep appealing and asking that, as difficult as the situation is, we will get to a point where we'll be at a cruising level, Unfortunately, I won't be able to say what time that will be. But I know that if we keep at what we are doing as a government with the support of Nigerians, we will have a headway. And this also is a call to Nigerians to hold government accountable at every point in time, because we are the people. The government works for us, the people. And at every point in time where things are going wrong, we must speak up and also ensure that, government do the needful to ensure that, the lives of Nigerians are better for it.
All right, thank you very much, Andrew. Of course, it's been a very wonderful time. In fact, so many questions on my mind right now. We've not even talked about the Progressive Forum. I would have loved to ask more questions for pioneering and sharing that very, very huge group. Is something we would have talked about it, but then we'll invite you again and we'll talk more about the Progressive and of course other things. Thank you very much, Andrew, for joining us on the conversation today.
Thank you for having me.
Everyone, it's been a very wonderful and fruitful conversation on Global Morning today. Global Morning will come on your way again tomorrow, same time. And of course, we are Nigerians. Let's try as much as possible, the one we can,
hold the government responsible, according to our guest in the studio today, because the government is working for the people. All right. This is the size of the conversation this morning. We want to say a very big thank you for staying with us on the program. My name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo.
And I am Priscilla Obasi, wishing you an amazing day ahead. Bye.